Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin still consolidating just below 62k. Not really any change from yesterday. We see a little bit of fluctuation or some fluctuations in the altcoin sector as yesterday already. Yesterday we saw a little bit of upside. Today we see a little bit of downside. Everything within the scope of normal altcoin volatility. Bitcoin down slightly since yesterday, but really Bitcoin is still holding its range. Most altcoins are holding their ranges at the moment, but some could have topped. So we talk about that obviously in the relevant altcoin analysis updates. But yeah, Bitcoin is still overall here on the daily chart in a situation in which it's consolidating on a very high level just below all-time high territory. We have this all-time high, yeah, you could say resistance area. It's between 65 and 69k. Bitcoin is consolidating just below it. And in the white count, I'm still watching for a wave 4 pullback. Watching for it isn't the same as predicting it, all right? And we need to see some signals to tell us that this wave 4 is actually unfolding. What it tells you, though, is a lot about the risk that's currently here. So it means that we have to consider that this dip is happening at some point. The shorter time frame still allows for one more high in the white wave count. So we could very well maybe test the all-time highs, maybe see a wick into all-time high territory before that wave 4 pullback starts. However, it could literally happen at any point because we are very much overextended. Yeah, so the move from the January lows is very much overextended. If you see this move as a 5-wave move itself, the 5th wave is very extended. So the risk is quite high. That doesn't mean we are already in the pullback. I cannot confirm a pullback until we see, I think it's 57,100 broken to the downside. But the reason I pointed out is just because I sense, there is a sentiment at the moment in the market that everybody's bullish. And yeah, I mean, I am. It's just that, that there is a tendency when there is a sentiment that people get over leveraged. Risk too much. You shouldn't risk more really in this market phase than you do in other phases. I mean, just focus on risk management, continue to focus on it. What I want to avoid is that subscribers or even members get liquidated, lose a lot of money just because the market changes its mood from one day to another. And that can always happen in the crypto space. So that means you should not risk more just because we've seen a few green candles. That is typically what many people get wrong. Okay, so I just want to address that. Don't want to see any people liquidated or whatever when we suddenly see a dip. Always understand where are the relevant support levels. Measure your risk against support. Set your stop loss accordingly. You should never get liquidated really. Therefore, you have stop losses. Risk not more than 1 to 3% of your portfolio per single trade. And that's the risk to stop. And then you should be good. I know a lot of people do more. Then don't be surprised if your portfolio gets wrecked, okay? That's just not good practice. And of course, if you have 10 altcoin trades that are highly correlated, you need to, consider the risk as well. But yeah, I mean, we're still in an uptrend, consolidating on a high level. I prefer another high, to be honest, before this wave 4 starts. A sustained break into all-time high territory would rather mean that the green count is unfolding. That would be very aggressively bullish with a very direct move to 100k. I don't see that as primary scenario. I like the white count, even though it's very much extended. But because we are so close to all-time high territory, the sentiment could lead to get that third wave move to its extreme, basically, which is why I say, okay, we could see a little bit more upside, but very much be aware that this is the support area that I can offer at the moment. Now, the green, I'm not ready to move over to the green count. If the green count plays out, I'm sure a lot of people would be happy, but it wouldn't be good for anybody who's not yet positioned in the market because there will likely not be any deep pullback. So that shows you the importance of holding a core position. Let's talk about the shorter time frame. This is now the 15-minute chart. I could also look at the 1 hour, but we see less detail. So let's go to the 15-minute. It shows you that last move here from the end of February lows. We have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3. I see this as potential wave 4 sideways consolidation, which still allows for another high. But we also have to take it very seriously that we're very much overextended from the 23rd of January low. So very much overextended. And I think we are in a topping phase, but I think one more high is a reasonable expectation. But I will change my view below 57,100. That's my first signal that would tell me that, yep, we have topped. Okay, we have topped. And therefore we have the support area, and we have to give it again that space. Bitcoin did dip twice into the support area already, even touched the 38.2 retracement level already. That's the ideal target for a fourth wave. And now it looks a bit like a triangle. Triangles often morph at some point into something different, so it could morph definitely into some kind of a WXY pattern. We could test the lower ranges in the support area again. That cannot be predicted necessarily, but as long as we're holding support, you know, the upside pressure remains high. The upside pressure remains high. Bitcoin is likely consolidating because obviously this is the ideal environment in which institutional investors and whales are getting rid of positions, because it's being bought up by traders, by retail, and you know, as long as new people come in, this is going to happen. If the FOMO is too strong, then we're likely going to break above resistance, okay? But if everybody has a position who wants a position, then prices will start to decline. So it depends on how much retail uptrend pressure is coming in to buy those positions from anybody who's taking profits. But so far, we're consolidating on a high level. I can only tell you that below the 50% retracement, likely the market mood is going to change. So holding that here, that support area is holding here between 57,100 and 60,700, and we are dealing here with this triangle. The triangle is currently, well, holding all levels. We're just moving sideways. This trend line isn't disregarded. I could even take it off. It's not really useful. These trend lines change very often. They're not so important in Elliott Wave triangles. What's more important is, okay, you know, are we breaking above or below certain levels? For example, here, a break to the upside would be indicated with a break above 63,250, this D-wave high, whereas the triangle pattern itself will be invalidated as it is if we get a break below the C-wave low. So the E-wave, if really the E-wave of the triangle is unfolding, which is the last wave of the triangle, then the E-wave needs to stay above the C-wave low. And that is currently at 60,000, 220 basically, 250. So then the structure will change, but it could still be a wave forward, just in a different corrective pattern. Whereas a break to the upside is preferred as long as that C-wave low is holding. I'm not very confident about the micro count here. I mean, it's a triangle in corrective structures. It's normal. They always change these micro counts. It's more important to understand what is support and can the bulls turn up before we break below 57,100. That's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.